It's training camp season. Today we're looking at the Cleveland Browns, getting a good look at Deshaun Watson. We're going to watch him throw the ball around, work through some drills, connect with Jeudy, and everything else. Before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're talking about these players every day from training camp, looking at their clips, looking at those rookies that you want to see, those players who you're going to be drafting on your fantasy team here soon. Some of those guys come back from injury. You want to see if they're healthy. It will all be right here. Click that button. Stop missing out. We're looking at Deshaun Watson today. Almost 5 minutes of clips. Some recent ones, especially here in the beginning. And then I threw in the older ones as well that I had just to share it with you guys. But looking good. He's getting the ball out there. Showing off the arm. Out in front of the wide receiver. And the Browns are going to be fun this year. They are going to be fun this year. And he's got some zip on the passes. We got Elijah Moore. He's going to be in the slot moving around. That's going to be a fun one to watch. Out in front of his man. Out in front of his man. And this is a deep depth chart at the wide receiver position here. The Browns do. I mean, behind the big three, the three amigos there, I'm talking about Cooper, Moore, and Jeudy. You got David Bell, a good role player there with good ball skills. Very crafty, smart, nuanced wide receiver. As you see him getting ready to make the throw here. Cedric Tillman going into year 2. We got some good size, just athleticism with him. One of the few big wide receivers in last year's draft. Watch him sling the rock. And I believe they're going to throw it a little bit more this year. Pretty much they have to. Really depends on Nick Chubb and his injury and how he's coming back. And we're waiting on more word on him. But if he's coming back kind of slow, we got to pay attention to see what's going on with this passing game. Because we added Jeudy in the offseason. We have more weapons now. David Njoku had a good run at the back end of the season with Flacco. I think he needs more work in the passing game. But there he is. There's Watson right there. But if Watson can cook, stay healthy, we got more weapons, revert back to what we saw in Houston with this defense, with what we got here on the field. Jerome Ford holds it down the backfield. Maybe you get Nick Chubb back. Odds are no. But we just saw him squat like, 600 pounds, 500 pounds, 540. I forget what it was. We did the video on that. I mean, 315 after what we saw. And he's out here just housing it in the squat rack. You can't go against Nick Chubb. Elijah Moore with another wide receiver here. Now you can move him around. Get him in space. Use him how he's intended to be used in the slot. A little bit outside. Move it around. This wide receiver depth chart. Amari Cooper, older. He plays through injuries very good. He's a tough, hard as nails wide receiver. He's not really got much diva in him other than what he needs to be. But Amari Cooper, he's a guy, if he stays healthy, along with Jeudy and company, that is going to be a nasty wide receiver depth chart here for Deshaun Watson. The feet's looking good. Everything's looking good with Watson. We had that shoulder injury, that arm injury, and the ball's coming out good. And it was ramping up in minicamp. We're looking good from minicamp on forward. There are some days where they slow it down with them. They simulate throwing the ball. Other days they allow them to let it rip. Like on that one, we're seeing a lot of shots of Elijah Moore, which we did last year. They like to move him around in practice and stuff, and they did last year as well. They're going to be able to do it easier with Jeudy. Judy's a huge X factor here because he creates separation. Doesn't have to be the guy in the offense. He can really lean on Amari Cooper for that. You got Elijah Moore, too, to work with. You got David Njoku. So, really, he can just focus on his job, get open. Deshaun Watson just have to step back there, read this coverage, and distribute the rock. He's in prime situation right now to really take this Browns team to the next level. He is in a situation where he can do that. And he's looking good in camp from what we're seeing. I've seen only a couple bloopers. I don't know if they made it to this reel or not, but not many. I'm not hearing many bad reports. The run game, we're going to be watching that. Foreman went down with an injury. It was carted off earlier this week. Jerome Ford looks like he's going to be the guy. Nick Chubb, I'll never bet against him And if I feel like I have to, I just won't bet because he's Nick Chubb. This is a team. This is a team, though. We might see Watson throw it a little bit more this year. There are going to be in some nasty game scripts because it is the AFC North. So they may not, but they also may throw it a little bit more. They may spread it out. They do have 3 good wide receivers now and a very good tight end. And David Njoku needs more love. He needs more love. I think he goes underrated a lot. I don't think people talk about David Njoku, but honestly, one of the better tight ends in the league, good size to just athleticism. I think this offense can hum with him getting a lot of targets. I think they can spread out the targets very evenly. I think that'd be frustrating for fantasy football, but I think this team would be very optimal if they spread out them targets. If Watson can do that, especially David Njoku, how he wins on the field, how he's good in the red zone, and just getting more of the short targets and a little bit more downfield, just getting more targets in general, just allowing him to operate, and then mixing it up. Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore moving around more. This could be a very frustrating offense in fantasy due to the targets being spread around. Also, Amari Cooper, I think he's undervalued a little bit in drafts. I think he'll go a little bit cheaper in home league drafts, but he's a player that's going to command a 20+% target share. I think you're going to get a 20+% target share still with the addition of Jerry Jeudy. And I think with that target share, as long as he holds up for an entire season, I think you're going to get the workload that will give you a decent return on investment, at least gives you the opportunity to do so. I think Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore, they'll be flying under the radar. I think those are going to be players that will be up and down all season long for fantasy. But Jerry Jeudy is a guy that's so cheap that you may want to take a stab here and there in some leagues, depending on how you're playing. If you're a portfolio player, maybe so, since he's so cheap, just see what happens. Since you're always going deep at running back anyways, maybe you take a flyer at him since he's a late round guy. Elijah Moore, it's really hard to see him getting targets over Jerry Jeudy, but there will be some matchups. There were some games where he was getting over a 20% target share and was getting you, I don't know how to say it, not bad production, but also not really top tier production. It was palatable, but still, he can command targets in this offense. I look for Jerry Jeudy to push 20%. I look for Elijah Moore to downstep a bit, maybe be like 16 to 18. I look for the 3 amigos here. None of them's going to top out really over 25% unless one of them get hurt. But I feel like it's going to be tight in some game scripts where the targets are going to be close to even with a lot of them. Of course, Amari, Jeudy, and maybe that flipped back and forth due to game script and what's going on. Elijah Moore, third on the sheet there, but just getting worked up with more targets depending on game scripts and looks. And then David Njoku is going to have his games, but I feel like he needs to be used more. I think Deshaun Watson's getting the ball out. I think the arm's looking good. We're seeing that in these clips. I think Deshaun Watson can really step it up and be a big thing here for the Browns. I really think so. I think this could be the year for the Browns. This could be the year for the Browns. I know people say that all the time, but really Browns fans don't say that. Browns fans in real life don't say that. They're not looking forward for the Browns season usually. It may feel that way, on social media and stuff. No, that's not how Ohio is. They're very, very down and disappointed from years and years and years and years. I mean, their team moved away to Baltimore, and it's been a hard time for the Browns. They also need this. They need them to step it up. Definitely. They've been good over the last few years. They've had their ups and downs over the last few years. But Browns fans need this. Deshaun Watson can deliver that hope this year. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.